Welcome, everybody, to the League Baum Podcast. It is week 6 in the NFL, and we have a special guest today. It's not just me, the Commissioner Yoni Rosenbaum. It's not Seth. It's not Becker. It's the returning Avery Greenberg. What's going on, bro?
Good to be back. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you, man. It's been, we talked earlier today, but it's been a month since you've been on the podcast, and I needed an old reliable when times were tough. Not actually, I just have something planned for tomorrow night. It's Wednesday, October 12th, so got a Simple Space Shueva for anyone that's listening that isn't Jewish. It's a nice big party, so yeah. That's the hope for tomorrow. But let's get right into it, my friend. First of all, are you happy? Are you mad about this this trade that happened earlier on today? That's where we're gonna start.
I'm indifferent.
You're indifferent.
I'm indifferent.
Well, there was a little bit of commotion in our league chat. Not just in our league chat. I got a text or two saying that I should veto the trade, in fact, because it was so egregious.
I mean, as the commissioner, you're going to have to make your own decisions, right? I'm not telling you what to do or anything. And I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to help you at all, Commish.
Well, I wasn't going to veto it because I vetoed 0 trades in league's history.
Why would you?
I mean, unless your favorite word is going on, which is collusion.
We already know that. That's a given. We've established that's occurring, and we're ready to move past it.
Well, yeah, exactly. Let's dive into it. AJ Dillon, Filer and Joey had a trade earlier today at AJ Dillon and Elijah Moore, and a 5th-round pick, which is exactly what Filer was asking for Kyler and Gabe Davis. Now, and a 14th-round pick. Now, Gabe Davis obviously had the blow-up game this past week. He went off for I think it was only 3 catches. No, 3 catches, 170-something yards, and 2 touchdowns. And obviously, he had the 98-yard touchdown from Stallion himself, Josh Allen. I think that Gabe Davis is being sold at his peak at this point, but the real story is Kyler, because we all know he's going to be getting DeAndre Hopkins back after the bye, and he is the QB5, which is kind of hard to believe because, like, if you really think about it, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and Lamar have really separated. Then there's Patrick, then there's Mahomes, and then there's everybody else. Top of that everybody else list is Kyler. So I don't know where do you stand on this AJ Dillon part of the trade, because that's the real wild card, honestly.
Well, I think we've seen, right? I think A.J. Dillon's going to be a boomer bust guy the same way Gabe Davis is going to be a boomer bust guy. I understand that there are a lot of touchdowns to go along in Buffalo, but like you said, it was a blow-up game. He had a 98-yard touchdown, right? Again, he had a 98-yard touchdown, 15 points right there, right? If that was Stephon Diggs, that goes a whole different day,
Absolutely.
I kind of wish it was Stephon Diggs, actually. That would have been quite nice this week, but oh well.
Yeah, I tried to trade for him in 2 other leagues. Yeah. But to no avail.
So I think that gets evened out. And then I think the 5th round is really what, that's 9 rounds up. That's a good swap.
Yeah, it's 9 rounds of value. Exactly. I mean, again, I think the thing is that it's the Elijah Moore versus Kyler part. That's where everyone's like, oh, what is that?
That's where the 9 rounds comes in.
Right, exactly.
Paying 9 rounds for that guy.
And peel back the curtain a little bit. This is 2 Jets fans that are trading with each other. So it's Elijah Moore. They have a little bit of, affinity for him. We have our own little Jets fans chat for League Baum. So, we have
That's so cute, guys.
yeah, of course. It gets, and of course who started it, because I'm a weirdo. But no, AJ Dillon is really where this trade is going to be made or broken. But right now, I think AJ Dillon and Gabe Davis are both flex plays, both with high upside and both pretty much. I mean, I think Dillon's floor is a little bit safer. It definitely is actually, because I mean, Gabe Davis could disappear in a couple of games. But
No, agreed. But Gabe Davis just showed that he had a tremendous ceiling. So
absolutely,
you get that playoff week that wins the week.
It's a game changer at 100%. But you have to have
week winner.
You have to have that fortitude, mental fortitude, and the big boy pants big boy or girl pants to win yourself a week and put him in your lineup as that flex play.
Yeah, no, I hear it. I like the trade.
I hear you. I hear it. I don't think it's as bad as everyone. Next up, we got the waiver review on our little thing. So 111 fab dollars. Ken Walker, I have over here in the doc. It's called. I have it as Fabulous Walker because that's fun. It was I thought of it.
Very engaging.
Exactly. I think that he's going to be a starting running back, and he's definitely going to be a candidate to be a type of player that's a league winner, because let's be honest, the team likes to run the ball, even though they're letting Gino quote unquote cook. We'll get to him in a little bit. And this past week he did have a big run, so that did inflate the stats. He had 8 for 88. And they're scoring points. I mean, they're what you want in fantasy football. Last week we talked about the Lions and how they were one of those teams that score a ton and give up a ton. The Seahawks are right there too. They're giving up a ton of points, not having Jamal Adams on the defense. They're nowhere near what they were with the Legion of Boom, and they're giving up a lot of points and they're scoring. So I think that he's going to be. I think he's going to be a league winner. I don't know if it's for me, but he's definitely going to contribute. And the reason why, sorry, I know I'm going on a little bit of a rant here, but the reason why I think that I'm not alone in this thought process is because of the other bids. Like, let's be honest, there were 5 bids of 30 plus percent of fab. There's 4 bids of 50% plus of fab. You got 111 by me. You got 102 by Akiva and Yoni, 81 from Natan, 75 from yourself, and then Joey bid that 51. I mean, I don't think he thought he was going to get him, but he still had to put that in.
Yeah, no, I wanted him. He was going to be our RB2, and I messed up. I should have put more in.
You have
100. I hear. No, but the truth is like, let's see what happens. Let's see him do it right before we get on the bandwagon.
No, absolutely.
Put up a couple of good weeks,
No, absolutely. 100%. But someone that has Derrick Henry, and I know a lot of people have this in many leagues. I have it in another league as well. Having Derrick Henry on by, having DeAndre Swift on by, having Josh Jacobs on by. You play to win your weeks. You just need to get into the playoffs, let's be honest, when it comes to fantasy.
No, I agree. I think it's a good pickup for whomever gets him. And then we'll see what happens. I agree. But Penny's out for a while.
He's out for the year.
And he's the guy right now.
He's out for the year.
Yeah, but we'll see what happens. I don't know. He always comes back.
So the big thing that I'm worried about is that
vultured.
Who?
Like his touchdowns getting vultured for fantasy purposes.
Oh, not even yes, but that from DJ, like, this isn't the first time that, what's his name? Pete Carroll has had a running back that's like, oh, this is the guy. But it's not the guy because then there's a Chris Carson or there's a Marshawn Lynch that ran, that they go out and get. That right now is going to be DJ Dallas. Is he going to get 20% of the snaps, 30, 40% of the snaps? And then Travis Homer, who's injured right now, is still going to come back. He was at one point third down back. Is that going to contribute? So, I mean,
I hear plus potential more passing in those situations.
right. No, they've been in
The red zone, I mean.
a lot of negative game scripts and a lot of just back and forth game scripts where they're not running the ball as much. That's a great call. Absolutely. Okay. So I enjoyed the game we played. I played a little bit about a couple of weeks ago. This is going to be a little bit more of a condensed version because it's only the two of us. But it's basically just name to shame or play the game, meaning playing fantasy football. And we all have our love for the big names. I know that Avi Roth is a big proponent of this. That's why he traded for Zeke. We're about to talk about him in a little bit. And basically, like the name says, name to shame. I mean, Russell Wilson will play the game, which is Geno Smith. Now, Russ has been playing or supposedly playing with a torn lateral muscle, something in his shoulder. I don't even remember what it's called, but some sort of tear. He has had it's not like it's a phantom out of nowhere. He was on the injury report the last 2 weeks with a shoulder injury. And he's just not been the same. He overthrew that ball to what's his name, to Jerry Jeudy a couple of weeks ago by 15 yards down the field. He right now is the quarterback. What is this? That's the quarterback 17. Yeah, I could even tell you right now. He is the QB. I'll tell you. Let me do this.
Give me exact percentages. Hair on ball position. Killing it. I love the stats, by the way, Yoni.
What?
I love the stats that you're pulling up right now.
Well, this is, I'll give you guys, I take all my stats from, it's called the Fantasy Footballers. I'll give them a shout out. It's whatever. I'm not.
Are they paying you to say that?
No, they're not. But my other leagues that I guess going to send this to, because they allowed me, are going to find this very funny. This is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, he's the QB 15 or 16. And Geno is the QB 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. QB 7. Now, you can tell it, you could say, oh, that might not be the biggest deal, but let's be honest, it on a per game basis, it's not like it's just a couple of points. It's 19.58 to his, oh my gosh, to his 14. That's 5 points a game. That's a significant margin when you're talking about wins and losses from the quarterback position. So my question to you, as someone that owns Russell Wilson and doesn't have the option of picking up Geno Smith anymore because he was just picked up in our league, is do you continue to waste a roster spot on Russell Wilson?
So, to be truthful, I do start Geno Smith in another 2-quarterback league, and so far I'm loving him. So I'm on the Geno Smith train. That being said, right now the Broncos have a red zone issue when they just can't put the ball in the end zone and score touchdowns. I think if Russell Wilson figures that out in the second, second half of the season, then his point total will spike a little bit, because I feel like right now they're underperforming in touchdowns, that potentially later in the season that might not be the same case, but obviously it's a what if question. So yeah, right now, Russ, you got to pick it up, and Gino, keep riding, but you could also, score a couple more rushing touchdowns. I wouldn't be upset with that, but that's fine.
Right. No, I hear you. Personally, I feel like continuing to ride with Russ, especially. I'm right now. I'm not even talking screw podcast. That's just me and you right now. Like, I don't understand why you guys keep him on your roster. You have Deshaun Watson on there. I understand it. We have a keeper league. It makes sense. You already have Jalen Hurts. Like, you're literally just capping your overall team upside by wasting a roster spot. It's not like someone's going to rush to pick him up. I don't think someone's going to pick him up that easy.
So we like to call that strategic advantage. We wouldn't expect you to understand why we house or don't have players. It's why we are happily positioned to make a run for the playoffs.
Yes, at 4-1, you guys are sitting pretty. It's I definitely have to respect that. It's just to me, I don't understand it. I really don't.
Yes, thank you.
But okay. So here's the next one. We're gonna have Zeke and James Robinson. Now, obviously, these are both names that we know. But here's the difference. There is a little bit of a difference when it comes to these two players. Zeke has actually been getting a ton of work. Now, has it been productive? Absolutely not. As you can see, 22 attempts for 78 yards. I mean, it's less than 4 carry. It's not. It's a little bit more than 3.5 yards a carry. I mean, that's not what you want to see out of Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, no, very, very upsetting, right? Everybody had high hopes for him, and he's producing, almost non-startable numbers.
And the problem is, besides the Tony Pollard case, you would still think that when they get down to the goal line, he'd be the guy to get those carries. I don't feel like they're using him in that way. I don't have I'll be honest, I didn't look that up beforehand. But when you only have one touchdown on the season, there's something to be said about that, where you're just not producing in the way that you used to. Now, obviously, you see these carry numbers aside for week 1, where it make no sense that they use it. He looked great in week 1, but they only gave him 10 carries, 15, 19, 22. He's getting work. And again, they're winning games and they're doing well. But has he now become a touchdown dependent start? That's my real question. As opposed to James Robinson, who also was getting a lot of work, but the last 2 weeks have been real duds. Real duds. Yeah, he was getting work early in the season, but now, I mean, those explosive plays aren't happening. If you had to choose between one of these two guys, what's your take on it? Because I don't know why these two jump out at me.
Well, James Robinson obviously had a very strong start to the season.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that those two were duds. I don't think that's going to be his typical weekly output. I think he'll be closer to 10. I think that I know he has a good hold on the backfield there. I just think there's not enough offensive yards to go around for everybody. So some weeks his yards will be less. like a 27-29 if we're looking at it. Even the 64, 66, if the touchdowns aren't there, he's putting up mediocre numbers. Right. On the other hand, Zeke is also, he has right now, he is a touchdown dependent guy because I feel like he's not getting a lot of the between the 20 yards. I just feel like that's where he's getting work, but I feel like he's like trudging through them. He's not eating them up.
Not feeding them.
Yeah, there's a difference when I just watch him play. I think Zeke will be better toward the second half. I think that once he gets his footing under him and he remembers that he knows how to score touchdowns, I think he'll have more touchdowns. But right now, I would chalk it up to fantasy being fantasy because I look over at Alvin Kamara and I get, the same vibes. I'm like, wow, you are just where to go. And then I'm looking at Taysom Hill and I'm going, oh, that's where it is.
Yeah, everyone loves. So it's funny you say that because everyone loves this Taysom Hill stuff. 100%. It's like, oh, it's a tight end, whatever. But then everyone's also complaining that Alvin Kamara is not getting anything. Like, there's only one football.
Yep. And there's not enough touchdowns to go around to everybody.
Exactly. And I mean, Chris Olave, when he's on the field, is just going to eat because that dude is great at football. So yeah, no, I honestly, it's hilarious because if you asked me this last week, I would not have said that, what you said. But I agree with you, honestly. I think Zeke's going to have a better second half of the year. And, I mean, James Robinson is still a very good football player. They do have Travis Etienne, who I think he's a desperation flex play at this point in time also. But I don't know. I think James Robinson is much more touchdown dependent, and he's not as guaranteed touch dependent, if that makes sense. Like he just doesn't have many touches.
He has the explosive edge to Zeke. I think that he'll be able to rip off
two very inexplosive players. That's the funny part.
Listen, I think he's got it though. Zeke just looks slow to me. I feel so mean. Zeke just looks slow.
I hear it. I definitely hear it. Okay, our last two for this for our name to shame play the game is Michael Pittman and Drake London. Now, this one is near and dear to my heart, obviously, because Pity City, Michael Pittman, is my keeper. He is one of probably my 5 favorite. He's in my top 10 favorite players to watch when he actually gets the ball. But this is disgusting. I'm sorry. Like, you have 2 serviceable games. Yes, granted, he didn't play one of them, but it's week 6 and you only have 2 serviceable games. You're supposed to take that next step. I had him ranked in my top 10 before the season, and he is not even a top 25 receiver right now. If I am correct, he is the wide receiver 30. No, that's all available players, Yoni. I need all players. There we go. He is the wide receiver. Yeah, 30. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 32. Like I said before, he's the wide receiver 32 on the year. However, the other guy that I mentioned, Drake London, is the wide receiver 27. But he also has targets. And Arthur Smith, for whatever reason, doesn't like using his best players. But if they win games, which, let's be honest, they should have had a much better chance of winning this past game against Tom Brady. That roughing the passer was, just because Tom Brady kicks his leg up doesn't mean that he gets a roughing the passer. It's ridiculous. But you also saw the Chris Jones one.
No, I missed that one.
Yeah, because it was Monday night. Obviously, it was Sukkot. No, basically, Chris Jones on Derek Carr at the end of the first half, he pretty much he sacked him. While he was sacking him, he took one of his arms and like shoved the ball out. His other arm braced the impact of the fall. He did land on the side, but a little bit on top of Derek Carr, and they called it roughing the passer. It was a fumble recovery in plus territory, and I might have even been for a touchdown. I don't even remember, but it was like the Chiefs were down 17-0 in the first half. They were coming all the way back. It could have been a game changer. The what's it called? The Raiders ended up driving and getting a field goal on that possession. So it's a couple of roughing the passer penalties that have been rampant around the league. Happens to be, though, saw this from Schefter, that this time last year there were 51 roughing the passer penalties. This time this year, today, there are only 28. So it's significantly down, but when it happens in a much more higher leverage situation, to use a baseball term,
primetime games also are under more scrutiny, and I feel like a bunch of those are primetime.
Absolutely, and that's why the Tua thing is even more. Also, is much more,
apparent.
Yes.
Hold on. So Pittman and Drake London.
Yes.
I think once the Colts get JT back and get the handle on all their stuff, I think they'll be a more offensive, they'll have more offensive output. And then on a volume standpoint, I think Pittman has the higher ceiling, but I think Pittman also disappears. Right? He'll go for a 2.7, which would be brutal. Oh, except that's Drake London. But I feel like Pittman also. Can we get Pittman's up on the screen? You sharing?
Yeah, no, I got you.
I'm just curious. Oh, okay, fine. 4.6, still under 5. So I feel like both those guys will disappear. I think Drake London is way scarier, though. That's if you absolutely, pray. I think I do that in a couple of leagues, but it is what it is.
So
I would go Pittman over Drake London.
As would I. Here's my problem. Pittman at the last year only had, if I have this correct, I believe he only had 6 touchdowns. And if you're going to be in that upper echelon, you're not going to get, because right now he has 25 receptions. You're not going to get that 120, 130, or not 120, 130, but close to 100 receptions or something. It's going to be tough when you don't have that many touchdowns, to be in the top 15, which is what I really need him to be. Right now, I need him to be in the top 10 because he's my wide receiver 1. So it's, I'm shopping him, but, I'm trying to get his trade value up, and I'm not doing a good job of it. So.
Well, that you got to do what he's able to give you, and he hasn't shown enough to get excited about yet.
Oh, absolutely.
That's why his value is low. I think though, once they get it together, there'll be more offensive output, and then then we're just talking volume, and more volume is better than less volume because that means more points.
Absolutely, man. Okay, let's. I enjoyed that. Dissecting a couple of players and positions. You're so not watching the game tomorrow, right? You're not watching the game tomorrow, are you? Football? Bears, Manders?
Probably not watching, but I'll probably know what's going on.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I got to think tomorrow. Some Clavisha waiver that I might attend as well.
Yeah, that would be fun. No, so I have the Bears winning because
Commanders.
It's terrible. It's in Chicago. So Chicago is -1. And I just like I just like putting this on the screen every week. 62% of the bets are on teams. 62% of the spread bets are on the Bears, and 64% of all bets are on the Bears to win. I don't know. I just like putting that up there just to like get a sense of where the public's at. And this week's probably like it's hot. We're not. I don't know. We don't do the drop anymore, but it's David Montgomery, because let's be honest, he is basically the only player on these teams that are like fun to watch. I mean, Terry McLaurin, man. Curtis Samuel. Now that's another guy that's
He's got a Debo vibe.
yes.
Curtis Samuel.
He's the Swiss Army knife player. If Seth was here, he'd give us a whole 5 minutes on him right about now. But so I looked on FanDuel as I always do, and I like this little these two same game parlays. The anytime rushing TD, which was a plus 135, and then over is 60.5 rushing prop. Plus 224, I feel like it's a steal. For that, I mean, I think there will be a touchdown in this game, and I think it's going to be his. And then the long shot is his 2 touchdowns, which is plus 850. The over in his rushing prop and the over in his receiving prop, which if I am correct, he is hit in every game that he's played this year.
So I love that long shot, by the way.
Yeah, because like honestly, why?
I think he can go for 2 touchdowns.
Exactly, and if he goes for 2 touchdowns, he's
And I think the yards will be there also.
Exactly, though. The law of averages, unless you have a Travis Kelce game, 4 touchdowns on 25 yards.
He's amazing.
That was insane.
Red zone targets, man.
Yeah,
they can live in there.
When you have Clyde falling on the one, it works. It definitely works. All right, yeah. So that's my probably like a top for the week. And
yeah. I have Commanders winning this game, actually.
Ooh, I like that. I'm not betting on that because I
think Montgomery's going to go off, but I have Commanders going. I like Wentz 3 passing touchdowns.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's due for a game, and I think Chicago is going to be the game.
I'm curious what that would be on FanDuel. It's probably plus money through a 1.5. Over 1.5. It's probably like good plus money.
All right, maybe. So I'll take.
I don't want to check. Yeah, we're gonna give FanDuel a little bit of a pop right now. We're gonna
no problem.
The sponsor content and all that. See, showed you. This is what I do. No, it's just like it's so funny because a couple of years ago I was like I didn't think about that. And then once end of high school hit, and it was all like it was all anyone could talk about, and then it's just like it's everywhere. Yeah, player passing touchdowns. He's at plus 172. I mean,
yeah, but like no.
You're that confident in it?
I mean, yes, but it's like Carson Wentz. Do I want to bet on Carson Wentz?
Oh, no, absolutely.
Maybe. Maybe. I'll think about it.
Justin Fields is like their prop. This is how you know that the passing offense for the Bears sucks.
Yeah, terrible. It's so bad.
Like,
I think
whole touchdown.
But that doesn't mean that you can't score fantasy points.
Oh, right? Absolutely.
Collective games,
like
a lot of points in some games like these. Like Darnell Mooney, like 4 catches, 110 yards.
Right. He did that last year against the no, it wasn't against the Saints. No, it was no. I know why I'm thinking about it. It was when I went to the Jets Titans game. The Giants beat the Titans. The Giants beat the Saints, and then Mooney went for like 4 catches, 125 yards, and a touchdown. Why I remember that? I don't know. But all right, so there's only one big this practice report that I thought of, which was the Jonathan Taylor news. He's still not at practice, which sucks. We want Jonathan Taylor. I don't have him anywhere. But we want Jonathan Taylor playing football. Let's all be honest.
Has a lot of fantasy implications.
Yeah, it's not just his fantasy output. Like you mentioned earlier, it helps out. Oh God, let's not start there. It helps out Michael Pittman. It helps out even Alec Pierce. Helps out a lot of people. Helps out at the offense on the other side of the ball, whoever they're playing. But yeah. So here we'll start off with our weekly matchups for League Baum with the comeback kids, Akiva and Yoni versus Sean Becker, foreplay. First glance, obviously Becker has Jonathan Taylor, and that is a big question mark so far. I want to see who he would probably start instead, considering he has buys. He would probably go Josh Palmer, not going Darrell Henderson. So he's probably going Josh Palmer in there, in case. So he has the Taysom Hill, which is hilarious.
If it hits, if that's a good week, it'll win you the week. That's the risk you're taking. That's what he's become.
Really has, because he could go 5 rushes for 15, 20, 25 yards, or even 7 rushes for 30, 35 yards. Well,
if he gets the touchdowns, he's good. That's what it comes down to.
No, absolutely. He's the definition of a touchdown dependent tight end, but the problem is that not catching it from someone, he's taking himself.
Oh yeah. 100%. Yeah.
But obviously Mark Andrews is the better
yeah, for sure.
Tight end there. Cooper Kupp.
For sure. I think this is a good matchup.
Absolutely.
If JT plays, right? That's also huge. If he doesn't play, then it's tough. It's gonna be tough for Sean.
For sure. And also having Marvin Jones, he had a big game last week, but I think Indy's defense is no slouch. Like it says over here, giving up the second fewest points to the wide receivers. And that, let's be honest, there's still Kirk, there's A. Jones, and then there's Marvin Jones. So, it's keeping up with the Joneses over there.
Assuming they're in more of a positive game script as well. If they go up, they're going to be pounding Robinson, all day.
Absolutely. You want to. I don't even know what they are considering.
I think Indy is pretty bad if Jonathan Taylor doesn't play.
Right. I agree. I definitely agree with that. I'm going to give the edge to Akiva and Yoni. I think Melvin Gordon is going to have a great game against the Chargers, who are the single worst team against running backs in football. I think he's going to have at least 15 points, outdoing his projection, obviously. Dalvin Cook, I also think, is going to have a big game. Rondell Moore, they overspent. No one bid on him, and they spent $17 fab dollars. They wanted their guy, but, yeah. I'm going to give them the W, although J.K. Dobbins is against the Giants is not going to do anything. Let's be honest. Giants are sick.
Whatever. No big deal. Winning the Super Bowl. Oh, well.
Yeah. Aaron Jones is also going to have a big game for Becker, though. Although, sorry, just one thing. This guy, this is impressive. 4 straight weeks of 16 points. I thought Akiva and Yoni, I was trying to trade with them, obviously, and I thought at one point Akiva said our only problem is that we keep playing teams that have that are scoring the most on the week. And I said I said to them, that's not their problem. Their problem is that they're starting Aaron Rodgers. 16 points a week. I mean, we looked at it before. Russ was at 14, and that was QB 50. I mean, he's QB. I think he's QB like what's it called? He's even worse because he had a terrible week 1. So, I mean, 16 points isn't winning you a week at the QB position.
For this team, though, comeback kids, I think the secret's going to lie in Melvin Gordon, actually. I think that if he comes out and he becomes a league winner, which I think he can, right? No real threat in that backfield. If he's able to turn up, I think they have a good supporting cast to potentially make a run for the playoffs. Like, I think that if he produces anywhere from 15 to 25 points, I think they're going to decimate Chellam, you know?
Yeah.
Unless obviously Taylor goes for 30, which he can. Absolutely. You know, it's fantasy. It's fantasy. What are you going to do?
For sure. The only other thing I would ask is if you thought Drake London versus Rondale Moore. Drake London was playing San Francisco. Rondale Moore was playing Seattle.
Yes, I know Seattle's been giving up big chunks to wide receivers.
Yeah.
I think maybe
wide receivers usually run past the line of scrimmage, though.
I think that I would go Rondale Moore here. I think I would go Moore in this position.
Okay, I hear that. All right, dude. So you were giving dependent on Jonathan Taylor, you were giving Taylor plays Becker the win. If not, you're giving Akiva and Yoni to win.
I give the edge to Akiva and Yoni even if JT plays.
Okay. All right. Same here.
I think.
Well, all right. We're on the same page with that. All right. We got Joey and we got Nathan out here. We have the newly acquired Kyler Murray starting for Joey against Justin Herbert, who he himself hasn't been doing too great. I mean, he started off steady with 23 points, then had a pretty down week, steadied himself against Houston, and then last week against Cleveland in a game that they scored 30 points. He only had 14 and a half points.
Yeah, no, that's a little bit upsetting, but I think that was an off week. I think he's good for, 18 to 22 on that front.
Even against
like
Denver D?
What?
Even against Pat Surtain and Denver D?
Yeah, I think he's going to, yeah. Yeah, I think he'll have a game. I think they're going to have trouble. I think the check down to Eckler is going to be the doom for Denver this week.
All right.
If I'm being honest,
I hear you.
That's my gut feeling.
6 or 7
catches on the check down.
We got a nice wide receiver 1 matchup in Justin Jefferson and AJ Brown right here. Jefferson against Miami, and then we got AJ Brown against Dallas, which means it's Trayvon Diggs time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I go Jefferson in this matchup, but
right, no, of course.
Yeah.
But
right, Gabe Davis is the wild factor here now.
Right. So in a way, he has 2 of them because Jerry Jeudy can connect on a long bomb too, and then but don't forget this kind sir over here, Mr. CMC.
Yeah, no, but he's actually been very not great, not happy with him this year.
Look at those numbers and tell me that you're not happy because he's the number 1 pick in fantasy.
I took him number 1 in another league, and I am not happy. He should be a 30-point guy. He is not a 30-point guy.
So this is the problem with fantasy football.
I am not happy with him. Nuh-uh. Look at that. He's got 2 games under 15. Get out of here.
He is the running back, I think 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Same. Because we just think of him as this automatic 25, 28 points per game, whatever. He doesn't have a coach. He doesn't have a quarterback. He doesn't have they don't have any chemistry. He has Ben McAdoo, and the dude still puts up points.
Not enough.
Not enough. I hear you. Ramondre Stevenson's going to absolutely eat the next couple.
Yeah, he also, if he gets a stranglehold on this and he's not absolute trash, because like he looks like he's not absolute trash, like he looks good.
Bro, 25 for 161.
Yeah, no, listen, I hear he looks good. So
Everyone
if he
looks
can
good
get a
against Detroit.
stranglehold, went right, because I know that he's going to have the backfield to himself for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, yeah, he could also be, one of those wild cards that comes in and wins you a league.
So the next 4 weeks, actually, with Damian Harris likely being out, with those four, Cleveland, Chicago, the Jets, Indy. I mean, it's a good stretch for a running back. I think he's gonna do it absolutely well. I loved when Natan picked him back up the other week. I was a little bit jealous because I was thinking about it. And then he picked him up, and it paid off big time. I'm going to give the edge actually to Natan in this matchup. I think Ramondre and Justin Jefferson are going to ball out. If T. Higgins is healthy, then I think that he's going to do well. And even if T. Higgins isn't healthy, I think that Jacoby Myers is a very solid fill-in. That's just going to be, the half PPR. Get you 10 to 20, 15 points, 10 to 11 points. I know he has a weird stat line over here, but, definitely someone that's going to be good. And Dallas Goedert, greater sign Zach Ertz by a lot. Like, Dallas Goedert is the only tight end not named Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews that's, like, solid.
So I'll actually go with Joey on this one.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, go with Joey on this one.
And you think, what's it called? Judy and Gabe Davis over Adam Thielen? I agree with that.
Yeah. Because truth is, I think one of those guys are going to go off this week.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh.
It's going to be, if anyone, it's going to be Judy, which is annoying for me having Sutton, but that's besides the point. We'll get to that in a little bit. Speaking of Geno Smith, the Maris brothers having the wherewithal, I guess you can call it, to drop Trevor Lawrence and pick him up. Filer going with, so I'm going to give the edge on QB to Geno. That sounded weird to say.
No, I agree. I like Geno.
I think Geno.
I'm not against Geno.
Bro, I didn't even realize he has the Geno Tyler Lockett stack. I mean, that's either getting you 40 points or 17.
It's I mean, it's the stack issue. What are you gonna do if you're stacking?
No, absolutely.
I actually prefer the DK though to Tyler Lockett this year so far.
Right. I mean, for sure, but Tyler Lockett's been very solid.
Yeah, always.
9, 6, 5. I mean, getting double-digit targets in a couple of games, 8 targets, 6 targets. Like he's very involved. He had that sick move, deep in the middle of the field against the Saints. He juked that guy out so hard, and just that was like my favorite part of red zone all day. Was that touchdown?
The question that I have is this offense for them sustainable?
Right. No, for sure.
Will they continue to put up points and yards and stuff? That's what we got to ask.
Absolutely. This the high T of Mixon, Najee, AJ Dillon. I don't think AJ Dillon's gonna have that good of a game. I think it's gonna be an Aaron Jones game. Or against the Jets. Najee against the Bucks. And Joe Mixon, I mean, the king of volume, just you got to do more with it.
Yeah, it's more touchdowns. You just got to put up more touchdowns.
Definitely.
I'm going to be the one to put
Marilless brothers.
Here I go, Marilless brothers with the advantage in this game.
Yeah, Tyreek, obviously, if he's healthy after getting stepped on. Yeah, I think we're going to go Marilless brothers on this one. We're going to go with your matchup next. This is a real good one. Second versus third place. Gotta love it. Seth versus Milk and Cookies, Avery and John. Gotta love it. Lamar versus Jalen Hurts. Nom, 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 nom. Great. Absolutely fantastic QB matchup. Gotta love it. Yeah. Wide receiver ones, yes. And Jamar Chase, Hollywood, Mari Cooper, and Mike Williams are those wide receiver twos you want to see. And then you have the best player in the matchup. I'll give it to you. I mean, Jalen Hurts and Lamar are right there with them, but you guys have Saquon, which is it definitely gives you the advantage in that regard. Clyde, I still think is so boom and bust, and I can see this being a game where they have to stretch the ball down the field more as opposed to dink and dunk with him or even handing the ball off to him. Against the Bills, which stinks because of course Yontif, of course our holidays, just right in the middle of the Chiefs Bills. Why not?
Too easy if it weren't.
Absolutely. And then we got Tyler Higbee. I think in this matchup, greater sign George Kittle. I need a Kittle game. Like I do need a Kittle game.
You're telling me.
See, this isn't.
This is disgusting and
ugly. Or 28-yard.
This is worse than Christian McCaffrey. Look at this. This is terrible.
Exactly. Mike Williams is going to be taken by what's his name? By Pat Surtain. So
that's fine. One big play is all I'm looking for.
No, I know. That's what I was about to say. If you get that big play, then great. If not, I think it's going to be 6 for 48 type of thing. If you don't get that big play for 40, 50 yards.
Yeah, no, 100%. I hear.
Okay, and with that said, I'm going to give you guys actually the W because I think Saquon is going to go off again.
Yes, thank you. I agree with that assessment.
And this matchup is not what you want to see because I'll let you dissect this one.
Okay, well, if we're gonna start at quarterbacks, we should probably not. We'll hop to wide receiver ones on this one. All right, so we got Stephon Diggs against Pittman. Well, we know where Pittman lies in your heart, but objectively, I think that Stephon Diggs has the advantage.
Yes.
Wide receiver twos at Sutton and Debo. I think that it's actually a lot closer than a lot of people think because I feel like Debo. Can you click on Debo stats? Yeah, thank you. I think
that Debo game.
Yeah, I mean, his floor is actually much better than I thought. So actually, I'll give Debo the advantage on this one as well over Sutton, only because I feel like Sutton can, go for a quiet, 3 for 25.
Both their floors are actually pretty solid.
I mean, closer, but.
Yeah, no, but he has not a game.
They're going to have to be throwing it, tough and. I don't know. And then Mike Evans against your wide receiver 3, I think is self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Eckler and Kamara. Walker, I think, is a lot closer to Kamara than they're give it credit for. I think that Walker is actually going to outperform Kamara this week. I think Eckler goes off. I think Montgomery can go off. I'll give we'll even this out actually, because I think what Walker can do gives it that wild edge.
All right.
And Kamara, like I said, can I click on Kamara? Has he been performing? But I just feel like he just hasn't been there for me. Yeah, I mean, a couple of 6s and a 20.
Well, yeah, it doesn't show the his what's it called? He had 6 catches for 91. So that's another what's it called? That's another 12 points right there.
For this week.
10 points. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he had a pop off.
Yeah.
All right. Now we have to see. All right. So obviously we know what it's that big name controversy that we just discussed with Zeke, you know?
Exactly.
Are they putting up the touchdowns or not?
Mhm.
Kelsey, you hope you don't get another 4 touchdown game, which I think you won't. I think you're going to get a lot more yards from Kelsey this week. Maybe less touchdowns. Robinson, yeah, bro. I think you're going to get rocked. And I'm putting that as nice as I can, but there's faith on your shoulders. I think that you're going to be battling an uphill fight this week.
Absolutely. I'm looking for a big performance from Montgomery.
Yeah. Henry not playing is going to be rough for you, but bye week, you don't ever have to deal with it again after this week, you know?
Yeah, so that's why I've been trying to trade so hard the last 2 days. Tried to trade with you, tried to get Mixon, tried to get Reese Hall. I've been trying to get all sorts of guys to get onto my squad, and not. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, and you'll figure it out. And I think that we'll do all right. All right. Well, this was fun as always. It's always a great time when we chill, Avery. Any last thoughts for the podcast?
None. Just keep doing what you're doing, Commission. Thanks for having me back.
Absolutely. Thank you, and we'll see everybody next week.